July 25th, Saturday, 2020, 2:28 p.m. Central U.S. time. This is the first episode of the Factorio podcast. My name is Blake. This is Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Blake. How you doing?
I like that. That's a good intro, right?
That's great. Let me tell you a little bit about Blake.
Okay.
Blake is a legend in the Factorio community. He's been around for at least 5 years, 3 years on Twitch, maybe 4 years on Twitch. Verify that if you would. 5 years on Twitch with approximately 4,000 hours into Factorio.
4K.
He's done mega basing. He's done speed running. He's done everything. He's just a big, huge part of the community. He is joining me. If you want to,
yeah, I wedged my way in, whether I was welcome or not. A little bit of a Budinsky in that regard, but I started streaming on July 4th, 2015, and I just passed my 5-year anniversary of streaming. I started out with Terraria with my son Ash, and then I dipped over into about 9 months worth of Ark Survival Evolved. Taming and riding dinosaurs, and then I found Factorio, and it was all over, man. Got partnered on November 1st, 2018, so I'm coming up on my 2 years of partnership. Lots of good stuff from partnership. Number one thing about being a Twitch partner, transcoding.
Yeah.
There you don't have to, as I worried about that so much, because 44% of all Twitch users are right here on this mobile device. And mobile device is super beneficial on mobile device is super dependent on transcodes and quality options and all that.
Yep.
And if you do not have transcodes, you do not have the ability to do that, to shift over resolutions. You're going to alienate many potential viewers. As a Twitch partner, you do not have to worry about that at all. And that is one thing that I used to worry about all the time, and on November 1st, 2018, that left my mind and has never come back.
I watch all of my Twitch on a Chromecast. Chromecast is a mobile device. 720p is the top it can handle. Can't do 1080p. So if it's 1080p, it comes up with a nice purple screen that says error.
Step down, right? They want you to step down. Yeah, that's true.
My name is Paul. Let
me tell you about Paul.
All right, okay.
Rain9441. He is not super active on Twitter. He should be, but he has been a partner around as long as I have. He's been around. He has not been streaming on Twitch as long as I have. He got all that stuff done just a little bit after me. But what he's done in Factorio is nothing short of world class. He's got several thousand hours in it. As soon as he bought this game, immediate addiction. And if you look down at his title on Twitch and his panels, it says, quote, currently, past and future present, an addict, a Factorio addict in search of multiplayer speedrunning, solo and multiplayer speedrunning titles. And that is true. Rain is, whether he likes it or not, he is a pretty competitive person, and he is able to do what it takes to get the job done, even if it means grinding out and sharpening that blade, just getting it razor sharp, the movements and the builds and the handcrafting queue, all to where you can get a build done as fast as possible. It's been a long time since he's done a competitive speed run. In fact,
2 years.
I pulled it up. The last one, years? Yeah. Well, your last submission in the Factorio space was for the any percent run, and I don't believe it was the record at the time. But you submitted 8 months ago. Your run was 2:13. Let me look at it. Sorry. Oh yeah, 2:13, 17 seconds, and the link is in the chat. That was for the any percent. I think it might have been the title, because Narf had a 2:13.47. I think you were going up against Narf 03 from Malaysia.
It was the title at the time.
It was. Okay, so you did have it for at least a little while. If you have looked at the speedrun boards lately, within the last week, there was there was let's see, 2 days ago, 19th place, Seki 16 from the Czech Republic, Streamo Bert from Austria, 248. This is all in the last week. Anti-Elites from today. He actually did this run yesterday.
2 hours.
202.
Oh,
yep.
he's in front of me.
Yep, he is. PETA from Germany broke his sub 2 hours, 157. This week, Makkr, Makkr, the Yankee from the States, 157. Nephrem's 154, 41 seconds. And the current title holder, a surprise to most everybody, is Phoenix 27833. He is the current world record holder in any percent at 154.18. And this was Phoenix's one of his first and only submissions ever. And he is now submitted. This is a great time to be a Factorio speedrunner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Everyone's gearing up for that 1.0.
The other thing to do is, Rain, don't be a psycho. What you want to do is when you log in, click that dark mode so that you don't ruin your eyes and you're not a psycho.
I'm not logged in right now.
Well, when you log in, make sure you have that up there. There you go.
Yeah, they stole my cookies.
They did. Dark mode for forever. So anyway, Rain's a big speedrunner, notorious in the speedrunning community, and also Rain and I also have had some other collaborative efforts. We did some Biter Battle commentary, and I've collaborated on I would say most of the Biter Battles that have taken place. I'm not one for the field necessarily in those. I'm one for the booth. I think I'm better there anyway. The community would probably be better served listening to me than watching me play. But the times I was able to collaborate with Rain, from all my partners who were very, very good, very, very good. Rain was by far the most compelling ideas I had that were introduced to me on the field. Like, hey, look over here at the ratio of iron makers to coal makers, and see who comes out ahead. See who's going to get the advantage over here. And
you're talking about Biter Battle casting.
Biter Battles, yeah. Mm-hmm. Look at these sorts of things. And the reason why we're starting something like this is, number one, I think there's a space here for the general crowd, but two was because Rain's commentary to me during those was super interesting. And not only is he well versed in things like speedrunning and early game, but also can really come up with some unique stuff that some of the other folks in the community will never ever think of, because Rain thinks of this game in a very unique way. Yeah,
that's right.
So that's why we're here. Yeah.
That is why we're here.
Right.
So Blake
we have a growing list. We have a growing list of things we want to unpack, and we'll unpack 1 to 2 to 3 things every time here. And if we get to them all, that'd be great. If not, then there we go. So anyway, so go ahead and tee up our first one if you want to, or if you want to add anything else to the intro.
The intro's good. Let's get to business. So the first one, I think this would be a fun topic to talk about. Something that you see a lot in streams. It's backseat gaming in Factorio, right? Now,
there's two camps that I find that come into play. One, mostly when I look at the new player questions that come at me on Reddit, and Reddit is a great place to capture new players as they come in, right? And there's a sentiment that there's a lot of players that say, look, if I go and I search the web, I can find blueprints. Mm-hmm. And I can find methods, and I can find answers to the questions I have. Mm-hmm. But they kind of don't want to say, they kind of have this thing about, I don't want to ruin the experience for me, right? Don't let me I want the process of discovery to happen organically.
I want to build it myself.
I want to build it myself, but more importantly, I want to struggle myself. I want to struggle through this, so that at the end of it, I have the satisfaction of going, got it. And then maybe when I think I'm done, maybe I compare my finished product with the other finished product, but I want to have a pure reaction and a unbiased reaction to Factorio. Now here's the thing: is Factorio is in a weird state because it's been out for 6 years. The game has pretty much been done for 2 years, right? It kind of has. Right now, we're only doing polish on it, right? And there's those that say, well, the meta on how to do stuff is done, and all of the, and is largely figured out. Like, we figured out solar, we figured out green circuits, we figured that out.
Yep.
And I would say that maybe it's not, because
there's always room for more.
There's always room for improvement, and look no further than that board that we just posted, the speedrun board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you that the person who is largely responsible for breaking some of those old meta patterns, this dude right here next to me. One of the first players to go through bots. Yes, one of the first players to go through bots for a speed run.
Way back in the day.
Way back in the day I mean, before frames were used in yellow science, there was a thought of, I don't need bots. Bots is too much work to go get to the rocket.
Yep. It's too much of a deviation.
Too much of a deviation. Now you're going to make frames anyway, so now the path is more intuitive. But for example, Rain was able to say, look, now I don't think that's true, and let's try it, and let's tighten all of that up. Let's do 2 miners instead of 10. Let's see how minimal we can get it, and get some bots in the air and see if that helps.
Yep.
And those types of experiences are kind of what we're talking about. Of, hey, there's a balance between backseat gaming and hey, the meta is done and all of that sort of thing, and meta is done, everything's been figured out, and, well, wait a second, can't we try something new? And
yeah,
so
you got to always have that new mentality. You always have to allow it. You can never, it doesn't even matter if it's Factorio, your job, your personal life, you could never say that you're closed off to trying something new. Because if you close yourself off to something new, you can't get better.
Yep, agree.
You just can't.
Yeah, and so there are some streamers. I would say when I watch other Twitch streams that do Factorio, I would say that if it's the first or second time they're playing, right, there's a lot of pushback of no backseat gaming.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
If there's a lot there's a veteran in there, and it's a kind of a streamer who has done it for a month or so, or 3 months, or it's someone who is in the Factorio community and doing a playthrough, I would say there's a lot more welcome of backseat gaming. But there is a definite pushback when I go to someone else's stream. I do want to give feedback, right? When I see someone new, my one example was the first time that my buddy Resorty was playing it, Professor. He was building all over resources. He was putting power poles in like inefficient places, and I was going, I want to help you so bad. And he had hashtag no backseat gaming. I will ask for it. The feeling is there,
but I don't know. I don't do that though. If there's somebody who hasn't done something, I let them go, and I just don't say anything. In fact, what I try to do, because I'm so familiar with backseat gaming, is I try to set some sort of message up to hint to everybody else to not backseat game. Right. I'll say something like, "Oh man, I really want to help you with this Bobs and Angels, build that you're struggling with, but I got to let you suffer.
Yep.
I got to let you suffer."
Yep. Yeah. The other one is what I will do, and if there's a definite no backseat gaming, I may introduce a concept. I will say something like, hey, you can use science labs as containers, right? And then they'll go, okay.
You're leading the horse.
I didn't, right? And that's I didn't tell them what to do. I didn't design a build for them, but it's a feature that is in the game that very few people know about, right? Where that means you can pass a science pack from one lab to the other, and you can get a little chain going of science packs, right?
Yep.
And they'll hold up to 2. And that's a great example of, look, I didn't design the build for you. I didn't really give you any hints. I just told you about a feature, and then your brain can unlock the rest of your brain can then proceed forward. Like you can give a concept, and then they'll go, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that was a thing. Here we go. Right.
Mm-hmm. So does anyone ever backseat game on your channel? Does it ever itch your back? Does it ever like scratch your back and get you frustrated?
No.
Never.
From day one, I had people tell me it was that I was doing it wrong.
Yep.
Wrong. And all of that. Never ever.
But you get it. You get it, but it doesn't bother you.
Oh no, never bothers me. So two examples. One, there is a difference between a sandbox game like Factorio where you're figuring it out versus something like Death Stranding, the latest game from Hideo Kojima, which is storyline, right? Factorio doesn't necessarily has a storyline, but it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. That's the best I can put it. Factorio has a storyline, but it really does not matter. Death Stranding has a storyline, and it really matters. Okay, so my community knows that, hey, you can help out with the build in Factorio, but you shouldn't spoil the ending of Death Stranding for me, right? There is a big difference. Oh, I dipped over and come back.
Yeah, I wanted to see chat a little bit more.
Right. So that's a pretty important concept. And I'll give you an example. Last night, I built a city block I have a Bob's playthrough. Built a city block.
Too. Hey, we're doing the same thing right now.
Right. So it's just Bob's, no angels, no C block, no. I think I have FNEI because I'm not going to remember all that. I want it in game, and I have Squeak Through and Afraid of the Dark because Afraid of the Dark gives you a better viewer experience, right?
Yep.
So viewers can see what's going on.
Yep.
Just 2 quality of life mods. So in everything in Bob's, and I'm just going to focus in on Bob's and figure that out. And so I built a city block, and I kind of arranged it. And then one of my longtime viewers, Michel Gwinnett, he's a French Canadian guy, one of my buddies, comes up with he says, "Hey, I'm gonna send you a blueprint of something similar to what you're doing, but it's gonna give you 2 options. It's gonna work better." So he did all this. He put it in a paste bin, and the next day was in my inbox. And I said, "Okay, let's look at this. Let's try it. Let's look around." And I tried it, and I said, I'm going to go ahead and I think I had 3 city blocks defined already. So I had a lot of rail down, and bots are slow. And I said, all right, look, I'm making the decision. This build that you gave me is better. And I'm going to immediately tear down what I'm doing and do it your way because it's just better.
Well, this seems like a very positive case.
Yeah. Right.
Not all of them are, not all the backseat gaming experiences are that positive where it's something better that you can process. A lot of them,
right?
A lot of them can be derailing. Derailing ones are can send like a streamer down the wrong path. Now you can actually find this a little bit happening in speedruns. You know, sometimes somebody will accidentally say something. Oh, you missed a belt, but you didn't miss a belt.
Yes.
You know, so some of them can be derailing, and speedrunning kind of requires that backseat gaming. It's a kind of a community effort because one mistake, as everyone knows, is going to cost you the run. So a missing belt might cost you 5 minutes in the end. So everyone wants to say, "Hey, look, you missed that belt." But there's always somebody who makes a mistake.
Yep. And what I like about the Steel Axe team, if you guys don't know who the Steel Axe team is, Steel Axe is a kind of a group of European European time zone streamers, because there's some South Africans in there, and there's some Germans, Austrians, right? And what they do is something that we should do. We should just do this. It's just a super big advantage. They have someone else in Discord almost all the time.
Yep.
Who is watching their stream.
Coach. And
while chat is going, they kind of filter chat, monitor that, and then they will speak into the speedrunner's ear and say, 5th inserter on the left, you missed it. Go back and go get that. Right.
Top tier backseat gaming right there.
Top tier backseat gaming, and it's useful. It is a definite advantage. Like, why would you not have that if you were really competitive and trying to set the record? Like, you have think about that. If you're trying to speed run, and most speedrunners just do their thing and it's just them, they're recording and they're going to submit to YouTube, whatever. There's a second person who is there's watching their build, watching their game, and in their ear that can say, you missed something, and they can go back and grab it. That is amazing. So that is an amazing advantage that they have. Also, I would say streamers in general have an advantage because of that, because chat is a delayed manifestation of that, of proofreading your build as you go, right? And sometimes it's distracting, but I would say most of the time, having a chat that's watching your game and who is wanting to help you, most of that time it's beneficial, right? That chat has your back usually, and they want to see you succeed. They want to see you hit your goals.
Yeah, missing pole, missing belt, this and that.
Missing belt, backwards inserter,
positive
turned belt.
And in the Factorio community, everybody's mature. Everyone's nice and friendly. You don't have any. The number of trolls in the Factorio community is like one in 250,000.
Right.
I've never had a troll. My moderators have never had a job to do. There was only one time that something came up. I don't know if somebody remembers. It was during a speed run. So I won't go through it, but the chat backseat gaming in speed running is the most beneficial thing you can have as a competitor if you do not have a coach. If you don't have a coach.
I agree. And I talk. This is a generally accepted thing, except for there's one. I'll tell you. I was talking about this with Narf, who is a very unique dude. He's a very, very excellent speedrunner. He's unique. He plays with the grid on all the time because
gotta have the grid.
Gotta have the grid. And but it's not as good a viewer experience because it's a little busy, right? Especially if you're not in a high bit rate, right? And we were talking with him about this exact topic, and he said, I would rather not ever stream it because chat only distracts me. Which is great. And he has a completely different attitude about it, and the dude sets records. All he does is break records.
He does it.
He's a killer. Chat. He's an absolutely killer, and he ignores chat. He says, chat only distracts me. I should probably just turn the whole thing off. Because his goal is not to be an interactive streamer. He's not a streamer. He's a gamer, right? There's a difference. And
if I went back to speedrunning, or when I go back to speedrunning, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ignore chat. The only time I'm going to read chat, is when they at me. The highlighted messages. That's it. Those are the ones I care about. The ones that are trying to get my attention, but trying to keep up with chat while speedrunning. It's a no-go. So you got to have. So what some people do is they have that message system in place, right? So that maybe you can use some channel points that makes a sound effect, because sound is great in capturing a streamer. Sound does a great job. Visual, unless you're Badger, it's hard. Badger's got one eye that's just always on chat. It's just always on chat. Yeah.
I do that. I started doing that too. I'm not as good as he is, but I have when I speed run specifically, I have chat on the screen. So I'm watching the scroll, and I have the bot filtered out, so I only see people. And also, I've given my moderators a mod only tool, which I sometimes regret, but it is the sound from the Inception stinger. It's the stinger in Inception, the right. It's like big buzzer that goes off. If you've seen the movie Inception. And I've given them that trigger to play for free at any time, and they can get and it jolts me. And often the person who uses that the most is West Dude, and Wes will he does that probably about 70% of the time it's warranted, and the other 30% of the time he's trolling me.
Of course, it's Wes.
But he's a black belt level troll. And he's one of the most useful dudes I have in my life. But
long time sub.
He is a black belt level troll, and he will mess with me pretty endlessly. But he's super useful. So I would say that for early on, if I was to summarize this, backseat gaming, you kind of do want some struggle in your Factorio
always
in your Factorio journey. Once you get to where if you're launching rockets routinely, then it's probably time, I would say, for optimum experience, right? Don't immediately jump into blueprints. Get to where you can launch rockets, do your stuff routinely, and then kind of maybe go out and search for meta, go out and search for methods, go out and search for blueprints, but do it specifically. Get so far on your own, and then go look for blueprints and say, okay, how does this compare with the best, or how does this compare with some veteran players, or how does this compare with the general accepted with the internet? And actually, this actually recently came up yesterday. Our friend Nilaus, who is primarily known for YouTube, I'll bring this up because it's on topic. He posted this one thing, and I'll link it here in the chat. Yeah. He posted this one thing that said, "I've made many nuclear power designs in my time. This will be the only one I use going forward." And you would not believe the disagreement that he got.
It's this guy right here.
It's this guy, yeah.
1,580.
Yeah, 1,588 upvotes. This is a great nuclear design. And all he's saying was, look, I think I've arrived at a really good design. Let me move mine over here. And he just got like I'm
glad you brought this up. This is a great example of classic backseat gaming.
Yeah.
In two sides. You have, so if you split this up, you have Nilaus, who he's streaming 200, 300, 400, 500 people at a time. He's the biggest Factorio streamer that I'm aware of. He's the number one. He's one of the only full-time streamers that makes a living off of Factorio. And he's coming in, and everybody knows about him. And he's coming in with a design. And the responses, if I scroll down, there's 180 comments on this. The responses are, I think you should do it another way.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
I think it could be done better.
Yeah. It's amazing, right?
Well, I mean, if you look at some of the other ones that aren't this one.
Which so this I get. So here's my thing is that some of these are not just trolls. Some of these are scientists, right?
Yep.
So the Factorio community is kind of a self-selecting audience, in that many of them are grounded in engineering and logic and science.
Yep.
They're more Vulcan than human. Okay. And all they're driven for is just straight improvement all the time. Okay.
The best. They want they have what's in their mind the best. They want the best.
And here's the thing is that I like there's a scene in the new Star Trek movies that I really enjoy, where Spock and Kirk, the young Spock, young Kirk, are going at each other, and at one point Kirk is new young Kirk is hammering, and then he's presenting to the admiral, hey, this is what we got to do. And then Spock, who has been fighting Kirk this whole time, within 4 seconds turns to the admiral and goes and says, Captain's logic is sound, right? This makes sense. And 11 seconds ago they were fighting, and he turns and he says, this makes sense. I keep that scene in my mind all the time when I play Factorio, and you just understanding that the people you're dealing with, they may not be coming at you from a sense of pride, mine is better, or ego. They're coming at it of, hey, let's have some open inquiry. Let's see if we can tune the crap out of this. Let's see if we can get you did this with 100 pipes. Let's see if we can do it with 88 pipes.
Yeah, right? Sometimes that happens, but everyone has a different perception of what is best. Everyone's function that defines what is best is slightly different. Some people think what is best for a nuclear design is going to be Oh, it saves fuel. How much
Yep.
how much fuel does it save? And
Yep.
some people's best is how much UPS does it use? And
Yes.
some people's best is how cheap is it materials wise?
Material, yeah, material, an
Right, the
upfront material
speedrunners.
cost.
Speedrunners, that's what they care about. Upfront
Yes.
material cost. What does it cost? How do they get the most power for the least amount of resources?
Yep.
And you always have, you'll never avoid this, you'll never lose this in Factorio, where you have those two people clashing, whether it be a streamer and a viewer, or a streamer and streamer, or two people in the same multiplayer game, which I'd love to talk about some other day, of what they think is better. You have on one side, I think that a 242 train is better, and the other guy's saying, well, I think a 383 train is better. I think left-hand drive is better. I think right-hand drive is better.
Yeah,
there's so
the
many
left-hand
things.
drive, right-hand drive clash wages on all the time, and in my chat, it's notorious.
One of the things I hear a lot in streams, or I shouldn't say hear, you read a lot. One of the classic kind of backseating that goes on that challenges somebody's designs or build, what they're doing, is why didn't you sentences?
Yes.
Right, so like you make a nuclear build and you're using it on stream or you're sharing it somewhere, and somebody's watching, and it's a 4-reactor build. Okay, I still got this up. I'm going to show you this 4-reactor build up here. And one of the questions, I guarantee you, there's a comment in here. Why didn't you use a 2.6 or a 2.5 or a 2.3 build? Why only 4? Clearly, it's better to use 2x6. That's the insinuation.
Right. Yeah.
As a streamer, we gotta deal with those all the time, right?
All the time, yeah. And so part of this is I like the open inquiry, because I mean this is what outside of the Factorio community, I would say the U.S. society is going away from open inquiry in things like the media and politics and all of that sort of thing. One place where open inquiry is live and well, as of yesterday on Neos's post, is Factorio, which is, I love it. Like, please ask all these questions, because it's like the scientific method. It needs to be able to stand up and needs to be able to be defended on its merits, right? If you can, it's like the same way you defend a thesis, right? You put out the thesis, and then you basically say, all right, here's my thesis, bring it on, right? See if you can penetrate this armor, and if I survive the fire, then I did it, right? I'm now a doctor, right?
But there's a difference between a thesis and a stream or a playthrough.
Yes.
So a thesis is something that you might see presented on Reddit, right? So over there, that's a thesis.
Yes.
But Nelos when he's playing his YouTube stream and he's starting a new playthrough, and he's on the burner miner stage, and he uses 4 burner miners on coal, not 8. That's not a thesis. That's just him playing. But you could have somebody critically analyzing, like, hey, you could probably do better if you had 8 burner miners on coal instead of 4. But that's backseat gaming. That's what you got to be careful of.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is I am most all the time, unless it's done with malicious intent, which the Factorio community, it's a small minority of those who would try and do harm. I would say most of the Factorio community, it's a self-selecting audience. They are more driven. They're not necessarily driven by ego or pride or most of that. They're more driven by, oh, hey, I want to get this. Most of the time, they're driven by either one of those 3 methods. I want to get this better. And what does better mean? Better is cheaper upfront, faster to go together, UPS friendly, or whatever. Easier to construct, less complex, harder, easier to remember, simpler. Like I have one straight pipe that feeds all the things versus a snaky pipe that weaves it in and out. Things like that. Optimum fuel usage with a circuit, you can get some improvement in it. All that sort of thing.
No steam.
Most of the time, the backseat gaming comes from that intent, is just to get it better or optimize it, right? Which is what makes it great, in my opinion. Right?
Well, it makes it great. I think it does get underneath some skin. I think you got some thick skin, Clown, because you seem unaffected, completely unaffected by it. But I think I could probably find a clip where maybe you were unknowingly affected, where Your stream was going great. Somebody made a backseat comment, and then suddenly 2 minutes you have, you're pulled off in a different direction, and now you're explaining something that you didn't necessarily want to explain, or talking about something you didn't want to talk about, and you forgot where you were, and you maybe lost your stream of consciousness, your stream of thoughts at that point.
That's okay.
There's always something.
I'm fairly, I would say I'm fairly impervious to all these suggestions. And I had two things. This actually came up yesterday. One was the example where someone gave me someone in my chat gave me a better design, and then I explored it and I said, you know what, yours is better. I'm going to use yours. And like, we're going to throw that pride right out the window because I want awesome trains. That pride is not serving anybody.
But what if it's not better?
Then I would have kept my own. But at least I put them both side by side, and I went, oh, this is it. Oh, okay, good. We're going to scrap what I did. It's gone. All right. And then the other one was someone was saying that these rail systems, these city blocks, I was open inquiry on that, because every time someone expresses city blocks, they kept saying, well, I designed my city blocks with 6 chunks or 8 chunks wide. And I said, wait, why does chunks matter? Why doesn't power pole lengths matter or train lengths matter, right? Why are you so caught up in chunks? Because something like train length and power poles seems more tangible to the player. A chunk doesn't necessarily mean anything to the player if they can't fit their trains into the city block, or if they can't fit what they need to do in the city block. Because I'm more of, if I do it this way, it means I can functionally do X, Y, and Z, right? But the chunk argument didn't hold up water, because I don't care if it's 8 chunks, if I can't fit my trains in there, because my train length is, if my train length is too big, then I need a bigger city block to snake it in there, right?
But there's advantages, right? There's advantages to chunk aligned.
Well, that's what I said. That's what happened. Is 2 things came up. One, yesterday's FFF now uncorked and said you can click a button and you can line up blueprints with the master grid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chunk aligned is now gone.
Your grid that you manufacture by power poles and the length of the power poles, but the back end grid, the grid that overlays your entire map every time. And I went, what? This is amazing, right? And then the second one that came up was Hafala's followed that up and said chunks have a lot to do with UPS. And long term, while short term, you may have benefits with a train length and power pole length, and that's what you can see right now. Is that what you don't want to do is you don't want to have stuff happening at the borders of these chunks, because that affects UPS long term. And I went, bingo. And as a mega baser and as a big base builder, I will tell you, for those of you who are new players, the end boss in Factorio is not biters, it is not the rocket, and it is not even your ability to find materials. The end boss of Factorio is your server and your computer's ability to keep up with UPS. That's the end boss. Okay.
Or your tolerance of low UPS.
Or you get down to 10 UPS if you can't.
There's quite a few people out there that have streamed or showed a base has got 8, 9, 10 UPS, and it's like, dude, baby. And they got 1,000 hours in the map, and it's like, well, if you got 1,000 hours of game time, that's 6,000 hours of real time.
Yep.
A lot of passion in some of those projects. A lot of passion,
right? And so doing that sort of thing is a very doing that sort of doing things like that for chunks is very things like that for chunks is, it makes sense to a long-term mega baser to really be cognizant of UPS. Right. So I went, okay, those 2 things, the grid aligned and the chunk argument for UPS, I went, okay, I get it. That was my open inquiry, right?
Yep.
I get it. Yeah. Argument over. Okay, we're done.
Well, you're so willing to change. You're so willing to accept these ideas.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit more stubborn. If people come to me and they say, "Oh man, this is better," I'm like, "No, it's not."
How do you know? Have you tried it? I don't know.
No, I didn't try. I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look at it.
My name. Yeah. Do you know my name? Do you know my name? Okay. Have you heard of me?
Or they'll say it, and I'll look at it, and I'm like so out of it, I don't even read it, and I just say, sure. I can't do that.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just can't. I can't process things at the time, and I just make some remarks. But
Yeah.
if it's better, I can come around. There's some things that are, maybe better, maybe not, and don't matter, and those things I'll kind of just brush off and I don't care about. But if
Right.
something's better, I usually can come around to it, but it takes me a while to process things. I usually have to do it outside stream before I can really kind of accept it. On stream, I think there's a little bit of a delay in my reaction, but off stream, I can kind of accept those things.
Right. Yeah, I'm way more. I fashion myself, and this is kind of a metaphor for the rest of my life. Also, is like, look, that pride ain't helping anybody. You want to be successful. Like, do what successful people do. Stop clinging to your old habits, because your old habits got you right to this point. This is where you are, and if you like where you are, then great. But if you want to be better, then hey. What is that guy doing, or what is she doing? They're both more successful than me. Let me do that. Let's change what I'm doing and do that. I got no time. To be stuck in my old habits or my old ways. You gotta do something different if you want to be successful. So, all right, man. Well, we spent a bunch of our time doing technical stuff. Well, what do you got going on? What do you got going on this week that we can tell everybody about? You got streaming days?
Oh, streaming. I am back online. I'm actually back.
Yep.
So
what days are your streaming schedule?
We're doing Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Central U.S. time. I believe that's midnight UTC right now. Midnight in that center area, if you're looking. So that's a late night stream. Late night stream for the Europeans, but it's the best I can do. Probably do 7:30 this week.
Good.
And I'm gonna have to take Saturday off, so I'll be doing just Wednesday this week, and then we'll see Wednesday the following week. So 2 days, Wednesday nights, Saturday mornings. Those are my stream days. This weekend I'm taking a trip. I'm actually going on a trip, believe it or not. With the things going on, I'm taking a short trip.
Nice.
So I'll be back the following Wednesday, and we're doing C Block. So we're doing. We just did a planning stream today to try to figure out those city blocks, those train systems, that same stuff that you were doing, right? So to get kind of the fundamentals down. And I think we're at a good point now where I can off stream get the blueprint book solid, and next stream in the Brave New World C block start laying down that mid game rapid expansion stuff that I'm hoping for. We'll see what goes. We'll see what happens though. I'm always optimistic about what I can get done in a stream. But we'll see.
Excellent. Yep. So for me, this is the first vacation that I've really taken. This is the most time off in a row I will have taken in 5 years. I'm headed to some mountains, and I'm going to go look at mountains for 1 week. So I'm leaving early tomorrow morning, and we're going to do a lot of driving, and I will be back late Saturday. I'll probably not late Saturday 1 week from today. I'll probably not stream, but we're going to be getting high.
Elevation
in the altitudes in some mountains, and so you can catch Rain at twitch.tv/Rain9441. You can catch me at twitch.tv/Clowntown. The links and everything about that we do today all that's in the description below. All the ways to support us. You can keep up with my mountain trekking on Twitter. I'll be putting some stuff out on Twitter. So thank you very much for listening, and thanks for your support. Hit that like, subscribe, ring that bell so you get a notification every time we post a new video. Any parting words, Rain?
Next time. What are we going to talk about?
Next time,
how to mega base. How to get over that hump. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's a great one. Mega basing is going from your starter base to your mega base. I get that question all the time.
How do we approach that? How do we get there? How do you start? How do you finish? We'll check out that next time, episode 2. Thank you very much for watching. This is the first Factorio podcast that we've done. Stay tuned. We'll have more in the next 2 weeks. You guys have a great night. Have a great evening.
Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.